hi ho, it's off to work we go. Okay, and by work I mean a new video. I was thinking about some topics and for OPS that I've been playing around with, and I think just I really wasn't getting into OPS too much recently, and I think because of that I come here, little kitty. Oh, by the way, I did rescue injured kitty cat. Looks like he was gonna die, and I didn't want him to die in the street, so I brought him up. He's in my bedroom. Well, not my bedroom. He's in a spare bedroom, and we'll see. He's older than, I don't know. I thought he might be. I couldn't remember how long I've seen him in the neighborhood, but they think 10 to 12. So for living on the streets for a while, that is quite old. Get up here. So, anyways, my OPS, so I find when I wasn't really thinking about OPS, I did have some things come to me, and I noticed that I am beyond what I think are SC and NI. I am, the obvious things, to me that seem obvious. I find that I'm noticing it in a little more subtleties. By not even really trying. So, and I was thinking about how I'm consume, sleep, play. So play is a demon, but it's still used pretty good, supposedly. Although for me it doesn't feel it. But maybe because I have an awareness on it that I feel like I want to do it a little more. I have a sort of a love-hate relationship with it, I'm finding. So like the little hi that play does can really grate on me, like, yeah, and but then there's things I really do like about it. Okay, a lot that I like about it. But what I think and I'm also social number 4, so supposedly that's sort of like a pseudo play, right? So even a play last number 4 might, I'm guessing, tap into their play more than a number 1 play last. So I think that also puts a spotlight on my play a little bit. But that being said, I don't know that I use it more because of that. I'm like a little like but so, the hi, okay, I talked about, but I was thinking, like, as a social 4, I am supposed to, supposedly, well, I'm sorry, this is what I find. I'm not going to do the supposedly game. This is what I find. I find that I'm more comfortable with my animals than my social. So, if I'm doing consume sleep, it's going to be way more comfortable for me than if I'm thinking social 4, should I do play more? I'm not going to like that at all, but I will like, I gravitate. It's like what you're attracted to. It's like a moth on light. So, for instance, like one thing I do that's a little anti-play, I would say, is, I start off with play and anti-play. So I really like going to group fitness classes. I find that, I do get motivated around others, but I'm always on the outskirts, like on the side or the back, and I don't engage, and I'm fine with that. Like, it's just that, it's like when you're in a big city, I feel like even though I'm a 4, I'm a SCFI 4, and so I feel like I like a big city because you're around people, but you don't have to engage with people. You can just, like, not even look at people. And so I like that feeling of being in a group of people, but not really having to put energy into it. Not that much energy into it, or I can just zone out, and I'm not considered a jerk if I zone out because it's the culture of, the area, like a big city, or I'm on the outskirts. I do think, people send out vibes, and I send out introvert vibes, so there's that. But one thing I do that's a little more anti-play, so I go to the group classes, which is number 4, play-ish. And then one thing I do that's anti-play is I find if, like for instance, I love Zumba class, and I love the Spanish style dancing, salsa, merengue, that kind of thing. But in these classes, depending on what kind of instructor you get, and even if you get a really good instructor, sometimes they'll throw in like a hip hop song or a pop song. So I can really, hip hop is good, but I really am there for the, Spanish and Mexican traditional music. And so, or not just traditional music, but Spanish and Mexican music. And so I have a low tolerance, like 2 songs is good. But I have a super low tolerance for pop songs, okay? So they put a Britney Spears choreography. It's always and it's a choreography like I do not like it. I don't like it. And so I feel like when I have to follow along, I feel like an idiot. And so I will kind of troll dance, like if they're doing a move that they think is like cool, I'll act like it's a skit or something, and because I'm just like, oh, this is stupid, and in my head I'm thinking that, and then I'm like, and this is what I realized, okay, because I had a birthday since I last posted a video, and I'm turning over a new leaf here, and I'm going to be a grown adult and say that I realize in these moments, these are just my headphones, I realize in these moments that I need to just leave the class. Right? If there's a song, I guess it depends on where we're at in the class. If it's the end, like leave the class. I don't have to troll dance. I could just leave the class, because it's a bit anti-play. Perhaps. Gosh, I don't know. Now it's bothering me that I looked it up. Anyway, so that leads me to what I really admire is NI. I admire NI more than I admire play. So being a social 4 and having demon play, you'd think I would admire play more, but I really am like drawn to NI. So for instance, it may be OI, but I do think NI in particular. So I have this group fitness class I go to, and the woman there, when I talk to her, there's no hi, okay? It's just turn talk. And, we were talking about this other class we both have been to, and there's annoying things about that class. And so she was just saying, it's very crowded, and I can't go. I don't go. I don't enjoy it. I don't go. And it's just like I'm drawn to that, right? So I'm drawn to that more than I'm drawn to hi. And so, and what I see, it's just like cutting away the fat. And this is something I really, really want in my life. And it was just like seeing that in another, like the OI. Like she's perhaps sleep, but maybe sleep, but I think definitely OI, Savior OI, where she's just trimming away the fat in her life. And I was like, yeah, why am I staying in these classes? Is it, I don't know, why am I staying, like I'm getting older, I don't need to spend my time doing things like hoping or thinking maybe because I'm a social 4 that okay, just hang out here for a while and just hang out with the tribe longer. And yeah, I don't really get out a lot, and so it's the things that I do like to do are like my group fitness class, so I feel like if I got out of the house to do it, I should see it through to the end. But there is something that I'm drawn to it. I'm drawn to it when she's like, just I trim away the fat, and I'm just like, brilliant. I need to start trimming away the fat of my life. And so I just feel that way now. I feel like I'm just, and I've kind of come to that on my own a little bit before, but I just admire people who are like instinctively that way. And like I was thinking, why am I spending my time? Sometimes I think, like, why am I I have less tolerance for like movies and entertainment, just entertainment in general. I mean, I do like comedy, but other than that, like if I remember going to like more art shows or like spoken word, or people do poetry, or they read something of their art, they present their art, and I'm like, why am I here? Why am I spending my time sitting watching someone else when I could be doing it? And to me, that's like, getting older and feeling like I have a limited time on this earth. Why am I watching you do something when I could be doing something creative? I'd rather spend my time doing something creative on my own. And I'm not that I don't like that stuff, but that it can be a time suck. And I saw this quote from this guy, and he basically said, "Yeah, I don't read books." And what he meant weren't novels. At least in context of his quote, I would have to ask him if he reads memoirs or nonfiction. But he just said, "I don't want to do makeup, get immersed in like a makeup fairy tale land. I'm living out there, living life." And I really do like that quote, as much as I do also like a book. And I do think, like, if I'm going to engage in some entertainment, which I do like to do, a book is, for me, not a bad thing. If you read a book, and not all the time, but if you read a book, it's really good. Now, I think all the time, a nonfiction book can be, bits and pieces of it can be done all the time. Like, whether it's, I am reading a memoir right now, and I feel like I used to be into those when I was in my 20s, and I see why I was into them when I was younger, because it's like you're I wouldn't say it's play, it is obviously maybe a consume thing, but it feels like fake play, like I'm getting information from the tribe, and maybe it is kind of a play, I don't know, but it's like I'm getting information from the tribe without having to expend the energy that I would have to do to get it from the tribe. So if I consume a book, I can really feel like, okay, I'm learning wisdom from the tribe. But as I get older, I find I don't need that wisdom, or I'm looking for very much more specific. As you get older, you're like, your standards get higher, and you know more what you want, what you're looking for, and it's just so refined. That trimming away the fat is really something that I think you do, and I think that benefits, it definitely benefits my life, being lean SC, adding some more NI into my life. I just feel like cutting things away and being like, I need to get this organized. It's like organizing my life in a way. And even, I don't know, like, it's so hard for me to go back in time, like when I was in my 20s or 30s even, and think, like, how would I have reacted back then? But you forget, and I do think there are probably a lot of moments in my life where I would react differently. Like, I think I kept to myself more about what was annoying me, and I think now I really kind of let it loose. I'm like, this is fucking annoying, and I like having that vent. I don't know if that's me kind of moving my my tribe, so that way, moving my feelings, so that way I can, pushing back on the tribe so I can move my feelings, and I kind of like it. I like it, and it makes me maybe a little more bitchy, but I do enjoy it. I like venting. Yeah, I like venting because I notice people who don't do it, and I think it feels like bottling something up, it's gonna blow. So these are things like when you were like, okay, I think when I was younger, I probably would be doing something different, and I have to really think hard about that, because I'm like, would I be? Gosh, am I remember that wrong? Or like, how much have I really grown? And you just kind of forget the way you were, and I don't have the luxury of having recorded myself when I was younger, or even in my any age, even now I'm not really recording myself being in the wild. This is very much more controlled video, but so I don't really have any video of me in the wild. So how do I know? How am I going to remember? Like, this might give me a taste if I were to watch it 10, 20 years from now. It might give me a taste to how I will have grown in 10 or 20 years. I might look back and say, okay, I could say I'm different. So yeah, trimming away the fat. This is something that I really admire and like and want in my life versus hi. Now, I will say with play, currently there's someone at my job who's new, who's a play. Definitely play, okay? Definitely play. And in a way that, so should I say I relate to it? Well, she seems super extroverted, so I don't relate to that. But I am wondering if she, there's a feminine, is there a feminine DE? Yeah, I can't tell, but there's something about her that I feel like, not everybody that has played, you're like, okay, and I think she also gets a lot of people she connects to a lot of people, so she has this good, and I know why, I'm sorry, I can't believe it slipped my mind and I knew this. She's a number 4, okay, so she's play and she's number 4, so she draws people to her, and I think that's why I feel like, okay, this play it can rub me the wrong way, but it also there's a lot that I admire about it that I don't admire in other plays. So I think being a number 4, I admire it because, it's like bestie, kind of energy, and I like it a lot. So when I see the good side of it, I really, really like it. Not that this, I don't know, should I say good side? When I see things that I like about it, I am like, I eat it up. So that is in regards to play energy. So for me, that I feel like for play, I really have to kind of tap into my DE, my demon TE, and for cutting off the fat and really, getting more organized, I have to tap into my demon and which is my hardest function, although I am consumed sleep. It is still my function that can really, yeah. But as you get older, you're naturally, even before I got OPS, you're naturally going to be like, one of the first things I noticed is like I'm shitty at planning, and I really worked hard, and maybe being number 4, I felt like, okay, I can't let people down, I have to try. And I would see my frustrations, like my frustrations in trying and failing. And then I wouldn't want to try again because it was like an expenditure of energy. And I don't have that much energy to give again. I need to replenish some more before I can expend that energy again. So I wasn't like, if I failed, I was continually getting back up right away, But I did, I've done that, like when I see younger people who are ESFPs, and I'm like, they're nowhere near I am with planning. It's like they don't even know what the word is, compared to me, and it can be annoying even to me, and I'm like, I don't like that much chaos. Like, I mean, I am okay with some chaos, and I do actually like some, but then it's like that much in that level and that disregard to other people around you, I dislike so much. And that actually brings me to my other topic, which is when we see things in someone else and we think, you get the ew factor, and you then automatically, my brain automatically says, am I doing that? Like, I look in the mirror, oh my God, because I think, okay, the one that I'm going to bring up and that got me thinking about this was someone who is a contrarian. And I'm like, okay, like they hit me with contrarian, like boom, 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 in a way that I was just like, will I get away with it? Can I? In this day and age, will I get away with it? But then I automatically was like, well, you know what? I can be devil's advocate. I know I can be devil's advocate. Am I this dickwad? And then I was talking to someone else about it who knows the same person, and they were like, yeah, I noticed it too. And you know what? I can be contrarian. This is what the person said. I can be contrarian. And then I was thinking, maybe, yeah. But no. Like, no. I mean, this is a different style of contrarian. No. Even if you are a contrarian, and I think you might be a little bit, no. I don't feel the way towards you that I feel towards this annoying person, contrarian. So that also made me think, yes, I do have contrarianism, but is it to this extent? Now, I don't think it is, but where am I on the spectrum between these two people, right? Maybe I'm not by the most annoying person, but am I in between? Or am I closer here? If I'm there, I'm fine, with him. But this guy, no. And I don't think I am, because it was very I think having double feminine play and being easy to work with, that I'm not going to be like he is. He doesn't. This guy, I don't know if he has, well, I don't know what it is, but it's just like a condescending tone and inappropriate, And one thing I found is that he does, and maybe this is also why it really rubs me the wrong way, because he might have a function I don't have, and I'm wondering if he has TI, because he likes to pull, it feels like a logic competition, right? And which I'm like, yeah, I don't play that competition, okay? Yeah, I don't play that competition. Just because I don't play that competition doesn't mean I'm dumb. And yeah, I don't have those words. I don't use the logical fallacy words. Doesn't mean I'm dumb, okay? And for you to insinuate that shows your true colors. So, it'll just be, now, that's Jack Harlow's hangman's noose. And you're like, okay, Jack Harlow's hangman's noose. Well, you, blah, 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 you didn't even, use the proper terms here, and then, to tell you the truth, I don't know those logical fallacies, but I was able to give him an argument that just showed that he was being very irrational in the moment. I'm like, when you use the word always, all, never, so I'm like, you use the word all. It's not all. Okay, if you're Mr. Logical Correctness, politically correctness here, then you should know about these all, always, never. You should know about it, okay? And if you're going to nitpick on all that crap, then don't use the word all, okay? And don't condescend. And so I was just like, wow, really weird. And okay, another thing, and I am I'm putting this in a video. If this person sees it, I'm just going to say, this is annoying, okay? You might not be, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying this is annoying, okay? This is annoying. I do annoying things. But this is annoying to me, okay? When the conversation was about, I work across from a Circle K. When I first started at my job, people said, do not go to that Circle K. Do not. Don't go with people. Don't go alone. Don't ever go there. And then there's been cops stabbed. There's been murderers, whatever. Don't go there. Don't go across the street. Across the street's a different animal, and even a little too far anywhere is a different animal. Now, there's a really cool coffee shop across the street, and I will go there, but I find now, more than anything, I will drive there, even though I could walk there fairly quickly. I did a few times, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to drive there. Okay? And it's different than, they keep their front door locked, the coffee shop, and you have to go around the back and then through a patio, so it's very deliberate. It's not just walk by, open a door, whatever. It is you have to give a little bit of effort to get there, right? So if you're not really going to want to put an effort into getting somewhere, you're going to go to the next shop, right? So I see why they do it. And I go there. And I've never had any problems at that coffee shop. Now, today, I go into work and I look out the window. I like looking out that window. It's actually, we have a really nice view of the city. And I look out and I like to just see, okay, what's going on for the day? I do it every day. I look out the window, what's going on for the day? I can see if there's a lot of cloud coverage, whatnot. And I look out there and I see at the Circle K, there's yellow tape off the Circle K in various areas. And then the street, the road down Circle K, it's also across the street and marked off. And then there's a big mobile unit, police mobile unit, and then there's some big police vans on that street that's blocked off. Not as many people in the Circle K parking lot, but then cones in the Circle K parking lot. And then I'm realizing as I'm looking at this, oh, murder happened. Okay, a murder occurred. And then I tell my coworker, and we are looking now, and then more, we tell more people, and then at some point early on, we realize there's dead body in the cones. Then realize there's 2 dead bodies in the cones. Okay, so 2 people were murdered there, and like I said, I was told when I started, don't go there. There's been murders there and stabbed, and police have been stabbed. So, but this was my first experience of it. So I was like, wow, it is true what they say. I heard it. Didn't know if it had happened once a long time ago and never again, but it's a real thing, right? And who's going to want to go to that Circle? I'm sorry, who's going to want to go to that Circle K? Okay? So then, because this all happened and there was like a buzz around it, we had a meeting, like a small meeting with just a few of us right after that, and we were kind of talking about it and how it's a place you don't want to go. And this contrarian guy says, let's face it, guys, there's crime in rich neighborhoods too. And I said, yeah, and he's like, there's crime everywhere. I'm like, yeah, you know what? There is crime everywhere. I will say that, in certain neighborhoods that are gated and nice, probably don't have as much crime, or they have, violent crime. I don't know if people there are like embezzling or whatever, but I'm talking violent crime. They might not, but I've watched those shows like investigative reports, and I'll start off. This neighborhood had not seen any crime in 10 years until one day, and it's like the whole family gets murdered, right? So it can happen, but does still rarely happen. And I said, this happened multiple times at this location. That's what we're talking about. This is now a location that has been deemed unsafe. Okay, we're not talking rich versus poor neighborhood. We're talking this location now has been hit so many times. And he's like, there's been murders everywhere. I go, oh, so in my townhome? I'm sure your townhome's old. How old is it? I'm like, okay, 1974. Yes, there's been a murder there. I'm like, dude, okay, just because something's been around since 74, you don't know, people could have lived there. I've lived there for 16 years. So now we got 30 left, okay? And maybe there's only been 2 other people here. Now, murder, maybe someone died, okay, of natural causes. Murders, you can't say that with confidence. And I think that's Mr. Logical. You can't just say something without knowing it. You can't. And so I was just like, that's a really bizarre thing to say when it's like, you know what? Why don't you go off to that Circle K then? This is what I feel like. I don't want to argue with you. Go ahead. Go to that Circle K. If there's crime everywhere, we're not going. The whole bunch of us aren't going, but you can go. And so this is where I get annoyed. I'm like, why do you have to be contrarian about that? Like, this has been hit many, many times, and you want to say, well, you know what, you might as well go there. There's crime in rich neighborhoods too. Okay, so even if we're talking neighborhood, across the street, Circle K, across the street is my coffee shop that I like. I'm going to go to the coffee shop, sure. I'm not going to go to the Circle K. Okay, they're the same neighborhood, so I'm not even talking neighborhood. I'm talking one specific spot has been hit many times. A convenience store is a bad location that, who knows why, there's something about it, right? Something about it. I don't live here. I don't know. Okay, I don't know, but I'm trusting. And yeah, I find that weird. And I wasn't going to be contrarian about that. Like, I went with the tribe. Went with the tribe on this one. And I was just like, it's weird to be contrarian about this. And it's annoying. And then there was 2 other things in the same day that he was contrarian with me about that to me were like, knock it off. Like, this is no big deal. No one's arguing. No one's here to argue. This is not life or death. Knock it off. And that's when I was like, oh my God, do I do this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Do I do that? And I think I can be contrarian, which is anti-play maybe. But I think I have certain principles around what I am. Like, if someone breaks up, and it's my double deciding, if someone breaks up with someone and they're like, jerk, I can't get on that bandwagon. I know it is a way to support your friend, but I'm always like, listen, there's I find, and maybe you have to do that first to grieve, but I find that the way to growth is to look in yourself. You can't change someone else. You can change yourself. And so to just say, this is all because this person was a jerk, I find that to be not so beneficial. And I like to say, well, you know what? Each person has their own grievance and story of what happened. And so just remember that. Like, it's always good to remember that. Now, I don't necessarily say that, but I might be like, well, you know, they might have, you know, I kind of double the side a bit, which I think can be seen as contrarian to people who really want that, you know, let's murder him with a pitchfork. And I'm not going to do that unless it was like some really horrible thing, you know, like, you know, if my friend gets hit or physically abused, I might say something. And then I've been annihilated for that, where I did have a girlfriend who got, her boyfriend hit her, and I said, oh my God, excuse me. All I did was I said, what an asshole, and she defended him. So, you know, and maybe just some people were, you know, that was contrarian to me. I thought I was supportive, but it wasn't so much that I thought I'm going to say it to support her, it was that I really thought he was an asshole. And so then, yeah, she was like, I guess not ready to, and maybe, you know, maybe she was like, you know what, I didn't tell you maybe in her head she's thinking, yeah, I didn't tell you I pulled his hair out before he did that. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's something that I don't have the information to, and so she's like, yeah, you know, it's not all that serial. But these are things on, so the play versus sleep, number 4, kind of, I have a number 4 play, but I'm really looking to cut the fat out of my life. Just cut the fat. This is what I'm drawn to right now. Very, very drawn to. Play energy, I can be drawn to if you're a number 4. If you're a 3, 2, or 1, I'm probably not going to be drawn to your play at all. But if you're a number 4 and have play, then I'm going to be much more interested, is what I'm finding. But if you have just NI in general, I will be drawn to that. And so I find I am, because of that, I am drawn to NI more so than play most of the time. And what were my other points? Just sort of looking at ourselves, seeing something we don't like in someone, and looking within ourselves, feeling that need, like, am I like this? This really rubs me the wrong way. Am I like that? And then also, there was other point I made. That might have been it. I thought I had 3 little topics here, but anyway, so half an hour. I think I did good for not having had a video in a long time and bringing back some OPS topics. It took me a while to get some, but I got there. And yeah, that's all.